All right. So first, thank you for joining me. This is awesome. Appreciate it. And I guess first, can you just introduce yourself and kind of what you have done and are doing?
Sure. My name's Stephanie Gunderson. I live on Long Island in Middle Island, so kind of out east. I am a lot of things. I wear many hats. First and foremost, though, own my own health and wellness company within the brand Isogenics. So I'm partnered with them, and that is my probably biggest love right now. I'm also a hairdresser. I have a salon in my house, so that was a fun endeavor this last year. And I'm also a birth and postpartum doula and a homeschool mom. So I do a lot of
That's all.
stuff.
That's all you do.
That's it for today. I'm sure there's going to be something new tomorrow.
All right. Awesome. So just a couple personal, couple first a couple personal questions. What are you most excited about right now? Whether it's like a hobby or something that you're interested in. Like for me, like I'm really interested in real estate and cryptocurrencies right now. So is there anything going on in your life that's like that?
Yeah, I love that. And I'm not interested in either of those things. So good for you. I shouldn't even say real estate. I'm not interested in Bitcoin right now. But um, I love that we're doing this today because I just came off of I guess, a retreat weekend. Me and four women that I'm an accountability group with. We're all business women within Isogenics. We put together a mastermind training and brought in people from all over our team. And it was a small, intimate group. We had probably about 12, 13 of us total. And we literally just spent the weekend pouring belief into each other in our lives as personal development, but also business stuff. And it has fueled me in a way just to today that I'm so excited about this. Like my message has changed a little bit. I can feel it in what I want to bring to people and offer as a gift. It's just the excitement of what else is here, not just like people hear the word isogenics and they're like, oh, Steph's selling shakes.
Hmm.
It's like, no, there's so much more here, personally, physically, everything. And I'm most excited about that. And I am almost about to win an incentive trip to Mexico. So I'm very excited about that.
Ooh, that's very exciting.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep.
What are some things you do to de-stress from craziness? Obviously, you're doing a lot. So, what do you do to kind of like relax?
Well, I am not the best at, okay. When I really do relax, I can do it, but I don't block the time. I don't let myself. So I am still working on finding the things. Alone time for me is a really good de-stressor, although the alone time today was to get with you, which is awesome. And I love that. But I was like, take Reagan. I need the time by myself. But that helps me chill and focus. I love reading. I actually, if I have time and table space and two less cats, I could do jigsaw puzzles, which is like so crazy. I love doing that. But mindless stuff, like the mindless scroll on Instagram chills me out sometimes because sometimes it's full of BS. But a quiet alone time, and I'm working on being a better meditator because I do not allow myself to get quiet enough for that. So that's my practice, is starting with 5 consistent minutes each day. So that's where I'm trying to focus.
Gotcha. All right. So you
Yeah.
don't have like a lot of people go running or something like that. You kind of
You
just
know,
chill.
I weight lift. I go to the gym every single day, and that I kind of zone into that. That helps me kind of really. I don't think of it as stress relief because it's such part of my routine and who I am, and I love it so much that
Hmm.
that's. But I guess that would help me stress less. I do that 5 days a week plus cardio.
Wow. You go 5 days a week
I do
or every
actually.
day?
It's another hat that I wear. I'm currently in prep. I'm 9 weeks out from a bodybuilding show.
Get out.
Yeah,
You're just
yeah.
as bad as I am.
Oh yeah. I'm like, oh, another thing.
Yeah.
What's your birth sign? You know?
I don't know.
Okay. When's your birthday?
February 26th.
Okay, so you're Pisces,
Sure.
water. So you're like, ee.
I'm all over the place.
Yeah,
Everywhere.
that's awesome.
All right, cool. So for everybody to kind of get a background of kind of how we've known each other is
Hmm.
when we first, well, when my wife got pregnant,
Hmm.
we decided that we wanted to find a kind of another way, more holistic way of trying to like give birth and stuff like that. And there's a lot of different things that we spoke about, and we decided that um, through Stony Brook, I think they give
Hmm.
you recommendations on doulas, and so we were lucky enough to get Stephanie, and right off the bat, we kind of like hit it off. We were almost like
Hmm.
friends. You like literally, and you guys lived what, not even 10 minutes away from us, right?
Not even same town.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and basically from there on out, like Anne just kept in touch with you like crazy. You guys basically just
Hmm.
talk like every day, which I didn't even know that.
Yep.
And
She's awesome.
yeah, and I like I said, we were talking before, like I've been watching Stephanie from like a distance and just always like really curious because I knew at the time that you were doing the salon and then looking into other things, and you were doing the doula, and after a while just kind of like following you, I'm like, wow, she's really into a lot of different things, and she's she's like kind of like doing what she wants to do. This is really cool, and that's why I had reached out to you, and so appreciative that you were willing to like spend the time, especially your free time,
Yeah.
to sit down and kind of do this interview. So um, I guess I'm kind of curious, like from the beginning, what was kind of like your thought? So like you kind of started off as a hairdresser.
Oh, what was I birthed as? I came out of the womb. Oh my God, but this is very who I am. Like I want it to be so many things,
Mm,
but I probably everything that I do now, the beginning thing that I did was hair. I've been a hairdresser for 11, 12 years now.
wow.
Yeah, and that's been the most consistent. You know, I was at a couple different salons and I found a really good salon um in 2016, and I was there for about 4 almost 5 years until I broke out on my own, and that was post the world shutting down.
Right. Yep.
But
What
yeah, hair is where I started.
So were you, that was in a salon, so you were renting a chair?
I was not. I was working. So you can do a couple different things. You can either rent a chair or do a commission based, like
Gotcha.
50-50, usually split.
Mm, okay.
And I was doing that. And so I was working really hard. And I'm prefacing this with I love my salon. I love the people I work with. It was like a family. It was the best thing ever. But as a business person, when I'm hustling and cranking out people and double, triple booked, giving away
Yeah.
half of my paycheck really, really hurts. And I require a full paycheck and I require freedom in my life. So that's where everything else kind of evolved.
Wow. And that's when you decided to do it on your own? So that's when you started doing it in your house?
That was towards the end. So I worked at a place in Comac for a while. Then I moved to every place I went, I made sure I was like moving up and getting more of what I wanted. So I never, I don't like to burn bridges. I don't like to do that because obviously we are very into networking, keeping things
Yep.
open, but I always just moved up and on and forward. And then the end of 2020, I had this crazy idea because the house that we live in was the house that my mother-in-law grew up with her 5 brothers. So whenever they needed a room, they would add on. So this one room, our living or like den area, had an old spigot in the wall because there used to be a washer and dryer there. And I was like, does that work? And we tested it out and it did. And I was like, I have this crazy idea. So we turned our den into a 2-chair salon because I was going and doing people's hair at their houses outside, doing this, doing all this really hard work on their hair and being like, okay, go wash it by yourself, but don't mess it up. Because, and it just felt unprofessional. And I needed that feeling back. So I created a space that really looked and felt like a salon. So I wasn't having people come to like wash their hair in my sink. And I made a really beautiful space I'm very proud of, and my clients love. Almost everybody followed me. I was so happy, so and grateful for that. And that was the January of 2021, and here we are.
Wow. That's really cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm really curious about like your story and like how it came to what it is now, right? So you were a hairdresser, then you were a doula. So how did like that even come about?
I am very big on if something feels really good, like when I think about an idea, I'm going to try it.
Mm.
And it ends up looking like, oh, Stephanie starts a lot of things and doesn't finish them, but it's more of like, this feels good to try. And then I try it, I don't like it, so I stop. And I'm okay with that. I'm totally grounded in that. But the doula work happened. I was in the salon and at the other place, and I got pregnant with my daughter. And I'm not a big doctor person, so I was like, well, how am I going to have this baby? And I found the Stony Brook midwives, and I had a really wonderful experience. I had a great pregnancy, a great but long birth, and I did not have a doula. I opted for childbirth education instead, which looking back now, I'm like, I could have done both, but I didn't. And then I had such a good experience that afterwards I said, how can I help other people feel this way postpartum or post birth without having to go to medical school, because I didn't have the time and the want to go to medical school. And I like Googled that question, I think, and I found doula work. And it was the funny story is that I found the first doula training I found was in the city with a really great trainer. If I had scrolled down a little more, I would have seen the Long Island Doula Association, which I then kind of helped run for a while in the future. But everything happens for a reason. I met some really great people in the city, although it wasn't my network. So that's how I became a doula. And that was in, my daughter was not 8 or 9 months old when I started doing that. So I was so passionate about it that I was like, I have to do this now.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. That was a lot.
That is a lot. Holy cow.
And
Um,
that's just doula work. And then that evolved into, was doing that for a while. And then I paired up with the Long Island Doula Association, great connections there, started hosting and running their meetings. And like, I think I'm just a natural born networker, and I didn't know it until I really didn't find my voice to talk to people and connect until after I had my daughter. And then I had my confidence and I was able to just spark up conversation. And so the meetings came naturally, talking to people comes naturally to me now. And the former president asked me to run the Dual Association. I said no. She said, which I don't really say, I say no better now. Back then I was like, well, I don't know. But she said, what if you did it with a co-president? And I said, okay. So I was doing that for a while with my friend Laura. And I just actually stepped away from that. So I'm sorry, you're going to see a cat.
that's fine.
I actually I'm starting to step away from a lot there because I'm focusing really hard on isogenics and hair right now. But that was the hair story and the doula story,
Gotcha.
right? Yeah.
Um, so I would like to focus a little bit on the doula
Sure.
because it's not like a normal thing.
Right.
Um, so you kind of decided to do that because it was something that you wanted to help other people with,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm trying to think of like a good way to word it.
Can we talk about what it is?
Yeah, I was gonna say yeah. Actually, if you could just elaborate, kind of like what it is, and like
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's a perfect. There you go. Thank you.
Yeah, because
You should be
everybody's
doing this
like,
interview.
what? No, no, because can I tell you, as a doula, everyone's like, what the hell is a doula?
Yeah.
They're like, oh, you deliver babies? Are you a doctor? I'm like, no. A doula wonderfully does nothing medical. So it's physical, mental, emotional, and educational support through pregnancy, through your actual birth, and postpartum. So there are birth doulas and postpartum doulas. Usually people love it so much they're both, they become both, but there's individual styles. But a birth doula is there. You meet a couple times while you're pregnant to go over your birth plan. And I say plan with air quotes because plans change, as
Hmm.
you know. But we go over your birth plan, preferences, questions for your provider, light childbirth education to kind of help you feel confident, because I am a firm believer, and a lot of us are firm believers, that knowledge dissolves fear or can help dissolve fear in that moment, because you're not going to be like, oh my God, what's happening to me? You're going to go, oh wait, Stephanie told me this, or oh wait, my doula told me this is what to expect. And it's not going to be this crazy unknown, because there's so much unknown in the pregnancy, labor, birth, postpartum land, that knowing helps navigate it. And then we're also on call 24/7 from week 38-ish until whenever you have your baby. So your doula is on call for anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks. That's super thin. um, but then they're with you. They're with you usually through labor, at the birth, immediately postpartum, um, helping make sure that you can advocate for yourself. So that's something important too, is that we don't speak on behalf of you. We help you speak up for yourself and gain that confidence, because that's so important for in the medical field, but also just for your life going forward as a parent. And then postpartum doulas come in and they kind of mother the mother. They're like the mom, sister, best friend, aunt, family without the emotional baggage. You know, it's they're there for you to help you heal. You can go sleep. They hold the baby. They help you with newborn care, food, laundry, light housework, just so that you can relax, heal, bond with your baby, and have a really pleasurable postpartum time. Because so often we're in this fog, in 6 to 8 weeks, moms wake up and they're like, oh my God, what happened? So that's the nutshell, even though that's not a nutshell.
There's a lot that goes into that, and we know that, and obviously you know that.
Mm-hmm.
And especially like the postpartum thing is huge. Like, and my wife has
Hard.
struggled with it a lot. I mean, even to the point of basically like medication, and not like
Yep.
because, and a lot of people think like, oh, medication, like I'm not strong enough. Like, no,
No
it's a it helps, right? It's not going to fix a problem, but it'll help you kind of like,
support.
yeah, exactly.
Another form of support. And postpartum, your hormones are everywhere, and it's so hard to regulate that if you need medication to regulate it, like use it.
Yeah, and I can definitely say that for Ange, like it wasn't like this huge change, but it like almost took the edge off, right? So like she would constantly struggle with, just being worried, like not knowing what was happening. I'm a bad mom, I'm a bad wife, I'm this, I'm that, and she's all over the place, and kind of like just took the edge off enough that she could focus and like look at just being a mom and look at just being a wife, and was able
Yeah.
to almost like compartmentalize like this one thing and this one thing.
Rather than all these things coming at her, these intrusive thoughts, this anxiety, this, it was able to kind of like, and then she could focus on her own voice and her own actions as a mother. And it's so important, because like, without going into too much of it, you guys went through a lot of stuff when your son was born, and to navigate through that, like, that's hard.
It's definitely interesting. I mean, for us, our son, luckily, I mean, so he was in ICU for I think it was like close to a week. Luckily for us,
Yeah.
it wasn't a huge issue, right? So he had a little bit of low
Mm-hmm.
sugar, and he had a little bit of a hard time breathing, but that was fixed within hours. So for us, like it wasn't very detrimental, but like having a kid in ICU, you know,
The separation.
yes, absolutely. And just, you have a kid and now it's an ICU or NICU rather. There we go.
Yep.
And just like that mentally, just like it kind of messes with you at first. Now they're like, okay, well, everything's okay. Go home, take care of your baby.
Yeah. Yeah. Here, you've been separated for like multiple days, and now go figure this out on your own. Have fun. Good luck. No,
Definitely not ideal, Um,
no.
but I mean, especially having you and just how great you were. Look, see, you had a cat, I have a dog.
No, but I love your dog. That's my favorite dog. And that's why I knew we hit it off so well. Because when I came to your house that first time, we had the Bernese Mountain Dog, and Thrice was on the radio. So I was like, that's it. We're best friends.
It's always so interesting how like sometimes people just meet and it like clicks, I mean, we're,
Yep.
we're talking about that was, oh my gosh, that was over 4 years ago,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, yeah. Christopher
Right. He
just
just
turned
turned
four.
4.
Yep.
Yep.
So it's just incredible like how, just one situation can create such a cool friendship and
A
relationships.
ripple. Yeah. I
Yeah.
love it.
Another question I got for you as a doula, just because I'm super curious about it. Like I know about
Yeah,
it, but I bet other people are kind of like I've never even heard of this word. So to give a little bit
totally.
of context and stuff like that, not even context, but so what is a for the people who do know what a doula is? What is kind of like a myth or something like that that you would want to like debunk? That like everybody's like, oh, a doula is like this, and you're like, but it's not.
So a lot of people think that we take the place of the husband or the partner. That's huge. They're like, well, why do you? And that sometimes can cause a rift or sometimes cause people to not hire a doula when they truly need one. Because I believe everybody could use a doula in whatever capacity they need. Because doulas, we're like chameleons. We will adapt to whatever it is you need in the moment. But a big thing is that we take the place of the partner. And if that's the furthest thing from the truth. There have been times where I've come to a birth and I don't do a damn thing. And at the end, they're like, we couldn't have done it without you. And I'm like, but you were. And so it's, I help supplement, I help bolster that because I'm an expert and I'm air quoting expert in birth and all this stuff just because of my experience. But you guys are experts in each other. So that's where I don't know the first thing about your inner relationship dynamics. So when I come into a home when you're laboring and you call me, I'm not going to be like, okay, everyone, I have arrived. This is my show. It's, oh, wow, okay, he's helping her with this. They're doing this together. I'm just going to wait and like offer support for him. And oftentimes I'm there to be like, this is normal. The noises she's making is normal. The sounds, the like this, it's hard for a partner to see their laboring lady in pain. That's huge. So I never ever take the place. And if someone says that the doula does, they had a bad experience and we should talk.
So
So
another question for you is, how would somebody like find a doula locally, right? So like now somebody hears this, they're like, oh, that's kind of interesting, you know, and I'd like to, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but doulas aren't there just so you could have like an at-home birth either. Like, we were in the hospital, right? Ange had a
yeah,
C-section, and you were there, like
yeah,
it's not like you have to go to one extreme or the other. Like there's all in between. So like how could somebody even like look into it? Like I know obviously you're very connected with that whole community, so like what is
yeah.
a quick easy way that they can kind of like get in touch with somebody?
Yeah, so I'll touch on that too quick. So a doula supports any birth. We might have our own opinions and thoughts as because we're human, but in a birth situation, if you want a full hospital, full drug, full whatever, every intervention, that's what you want. I'm going to teach you about it, but I'm going to support you in it. If you want at home in the closet, like alone, like whatever, with nothing, I'm going to teach you about it all, and that's what I'm going to support. Like it does not matter what you if you do know what you want, don't know what you want, that's what we're here for, to support. So there's no right or wrong way to birth. There are doulas that specialize, like there might be just a home birth doula, or there are doulas that just do hospital, like which is fine, but in general that's not the case. And finding a local, I mean, you just scroll on Google a little bit, like I didn't do the first time I was looking. But looking up local doula organizations, or there's like on Long Island, there's a Long Island Doula Association. There's Birth and Beyond resources that have a bunch. I know that DONA, which is Doulas of North America, they're everywhere. And they have listings on their website, I'm sure. Any of your local care providers, any local midwives or birth centers will also have affiliates. Like that's kind of how you guys found me through Stony Brook. So that type of thing. Doula, Doula Arts, forget the whatever it is. Doula Training International. I think that they'll probably, everyone that has trained with a specific organization and they pay for a listing as their membership, it will be on their website. So you could literally write local doulas and find that.
Somebody that'd be interested in becoming a doula, what advice would you have for them? Whether it be, how you started it, what you do different, any kind of advice for somebody that would be looking to do something like that.
Yeah. Again, looking up local, I would look up more local organizations if you want to do in person or get involved with your local community. Cause like, so the Long Island Dual Association, we train, we do two birth trainings and two postpartum trainings every year. Every 6 months, we run that. So we crank out doulas twice a year. Um, the Doulas of North America and DTI, which is Doula Training Institute, I think. Or there's also Pro Doula. They do trainings online if you want to do it quickly and fast. But finding a local group is going to be key. So you have that support, you have that network, going to meetings, talking to more experienced doulas. Uh, the Long Island Doula Association is unique because we have a mentorship program. So we put you into a group with other more experienced doulas, and you have free reign to ask questions. We hold member meetings every month. So something that's structured like that will be a really valuable tool.
I know that you're also kind of like have pivoted a little bit
Mm-hmm.
into what you're kind of doing now, right? So went from doula to kind of what you're doing now. Is that correct?
Yeah, so I'm stepping away from birth doula work starting in like June, July. I have two clients in June. So when those are, one has birthed and one is postpartum, that's kind of when unless like my neighbor over there is having a home birth and I can walk across the yard, the on-call life is not currently for me. And it was a hard decision because I love what I do, but I pivoted into more, it's still helping people, which I like because I apparently in all the things that I do, I really enjoy helping people. But yeah, I pivoted into health and wellness, with isogenics. So I coach people. I'm not a coach, like I'm an accountability coach essentially. I almost like don't even like that word, but I help support people through their nutritional journey, whether it's losing weight, gaining weight, maintaining weight, or it's energy, stress, hair, skin, nails, performance products. Like we literally have something for every part of people's lives. And a parallel to that, there's also a business opportunity here that can help you create residual income, part-time income on the side, work from in pockets of your time, part-time at home if you want to stay home with your kids, get your products paid for. Like there's just so much here that I fell into totally by accident, actually, that I love so much. And it caught me by surprise. So this has been an interesting year, like totally pivoting and diving headfirst.
How did that happen?
Excuse me. So this is the power of consistency and how you said like, oh, I've been like watching you post and stuff for a while. I met a woman named Vicky in a doctor's office waiting room about almost probably close to 5 years ago now, maybe 4 years ago. And she was like, oh my gosh, I love your purple hair. I just moved to the area. Her son's a year older than my daughter. So we connected on Facebook. And then I proceeded to ignore her for like 2 years because it was just nothing personal. I was just like, cool, we're friends, whatever. She posted funny memes. Every once in a while, I'd see a before and after, and I'd be like, yeah, whatever. I'm not interested, not interested, not interested. And then I we forgot about this. I reached out to her once, and I was like, tell me, like, can I just buy the shakes? Like, I don't want to do this whole crazy thing. So she told me the price of the shakes, and I was like, nope. And then I ignored her again for like another year. This is like the craziest part because now she's one of my best friends. But I ignored her again. And then the summer of 2020, when I was sitting on the couch because everything was closed and I had my can of Pringles here and my pint of ice cream over here, and I was binge watching True Blood because I was just like, whatever. She posted something about this shake line about these whole blends, and it was a full meal replacement with vitamins, minerals, vitamins. I hate eating vegetables, so like they were already in there. I was like, it just something that day hit me different, and I was like, oh my god, I need to do something. And I reached out to her, and I was like, all right. But the funny part is that my friends were doing a juice cleanse like the day before, and I was making fun of them, sending them pictures of donuts. And then 2 days later, I was like, do you guys want to do this month cleanse with me thing? They were like, we hate you. But that was it. I said, I don't want to be part of any like pyramid scheme bullshit. I just want to like look better. And within 2, 3 weeks, I was down like 7, 8 pounds, and I felt so good. Yeah, like it was something that I was like, this can't be real. And after the first month, I sent her my pictures, and I was like, don't show anybody these. She was like, you have to share these with everyone. And I was like, nope, it's so much of my skin. I can't do that. And somehow, I mean, if you met her, she could sell ice to an Eskimo, but she made me share it, and it just took off. And then I got my products paid for. So I did another month, because why not? And then I lost more weight and I felt even better. I had energy I didn't have. It was like my birthday month. I was like so excited. Long story short, I ended up losing and maintaining around 24 pounds. And I just fell in love with how I felt and the people I was meeting along the way. And I said to her, okay, tell me how to make some money with this. And she plugged me into her team, into like the bigger team we're part of, and the training calls. And I just remained open and coachable. And I have, like, I have no problem talking about money. Like, I've been able to, in the pockets of my time and all the things that you have all heard that I do, I've been able to earn over $20,000 in my first year just from a side hustle, like little bit. And it's only up from here. So powerful.
Wow.
From a milkshake, like from a milkshake.
And from a post, right?
From a post that, like, this person on the couch who didn't look like she loves ingredients and vitamins and nutrition, I was like, oh, I'm into that. That was it. So you never know what's going to hit somebody at the right time. And that's why staying consistent with anything is how to keep going and be successful.
So obviously, with what you're doing now, I bet there's a ton of like networking and meeting with people and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. So how do you go about, creating your network and meeting people and kind of stuff like that?
I love networking, and I feel like not many people do, but I don't look at it like I'm going to go on LinkedIn, which I'm not knocking LinkedIn because it works for a lot of people. But for me, who I am, I'm not like typing behind the computer LinkedIn person. I want to go. I make it like I'm going to go to this party, going to this networking event that's like all women, babes, and business stuff. Like I find fun things, vendor tables. This person's doing this. How can I me and my girlfriend Catherine are throwing a cocktails and collagen party on Saturday. Like anything that I can get people to and talk to people, that's networking. In my salon, the amount of people I touch, and knowing the power of who they will talk to after a good experience or a good something like that, to me, I worked retail for a long time too. So I always just talking to somebody about this, the power of three. When you have a good experience, you tell the average people you tell is three, and then those three people will go on to tell three. So it just grows exponentially. So anytime I can have a party or an event, that's how I network, and just talking to people. Why not, right?
Why not?
Why not? Because if you don't ask the question, the answer is always no.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
it's no if you don't ask. Then if you do, it's a 50-50 chance it could still be no, or oh my gosh, they said yes.
What is the biggest challenge that you're facing right now, and how are you tackling that? Um, how are you tackling it
In my business or in life in general?
in the business?
Biggest challenge.
I mean, it could be as simple as, I can't figure out how to, make Facebook advertisements. So I mean,
Mm,
anything you could think of, like, what's something that like you wish was going better, and like, it's a challenge for you, and what are you doing to
okay,
like try and overcome it?
right. Because the two things came to my mind, but the one that when you just said that, I am I am always challenged with my own organizational skills and structure. Like I'm trying to create a better routine in the morning so I can clearly receive the things that I'm asking for in life, in my vortex, and everything. Because I'm big on manifesting and creating and doing these things. But if I'm not in receiving mode, I'm not going to get any of the things that are coming to me. Um, like actually having, I'm a or I used to be, and I'm working on shifting of by the seat of my pants, winging it. Oh, I'm inviting you here, Chris. I'm inviting you here, blah, blah, blah. And the next week I'm like, oh, who did I invite to that? Did I already invite you? And I have to look back. And rather than I could just like write a list. And it's so simple. And that's my own personal struggle that I'm working on. And then like in my business is showing people how easy this is to share. Like where you don't have to do it as a full-time business. You don't have to. I'm trying to get clear on how I want to word it where it's not overwhelming for people. Being like, if you love this and love how you feel, that's it. You can get your stuff paid for and that's it. So that's my own personal like conversation challenge in my business. But I think the consistency and the longer I'm doing this and just staying true to what I believe and knowing what's here for people will speak enough.
But yeah, I also struggle with the whole organization thing, and it's so hard, and especially for me, like I'm a very, very forgetful person. Like at my day job, I actually walk around with a small notebook and write down everything that happens and everything that I have to do, and I literally look at it probably every half hour because I know myself and I know that I'm going to forget, right? So
Yeah.
it's like it's taking your weakness
Yeah.
and fixing it, right? So
Yeah.
now I'm the kind of person who everybody's like, well, you have notes on your phone. I'm like, I forget to look at my phone,
Yeah.
right?
My lists have lists.
Yeah, exactly. So for me, I'm like, if I have a notebook, I physically have something on me. And it's not something I look at and I get distracted, right? If I pulled out my phone, I'm going to go onto Facebook or Instagram, or, oh, I had to email this person. Oh, I have to do that. And I went on my phone to look at a note to find out what I have to do. So, it's the same. Everybody has that one thing that they're trying to
Yeah.
like improve upon, right? Um,
I actually just hired a professional organizer. She came in and did my daughter's room to start. And because with homeschooling, I have stuff everywhere. We had no space. My cousin just moved cross country and I had 8 bags of new clothing. My poor daughter, like she had a runway. And then I couldn't even get mad at her. Like a runway to get to her bed. That's the only path she had. And I couldn't get mad at her because I didn't know where anything went either. So I couldn't even yell at her to put stuff away because we had no system. So she came in and it was worth every penny. And some people might think it's a luxury, but oh my God, the mental clarity I have now and the good feeling I have walking past her room, leaving the door open, putting her to bed at night. I'm not like, oh my God, another thing to do. She's actually coming next week to do our office, which that I'm going to be able to put my whiteboard up and I'm going to have my lists and that is it. Like you, you wanted me on the call now, like watch me next week.
It'd be even better, right?
Right? Yeah.
Um, yeah. So one of the things that like stresses me out like crazy, and you kind of like hit on it, is like when you walk past your daughter's room and it's a disaster, right? If I come home and the house is a disaster, I'm a disaster, right?
Yep.
It's like one of those things where um, it's like you come home, like for me, like I work 12-hour shifts, so like after a 12-hour shift, I'm tired, and then I come home and there's chaos. It
Yeah.
mentally, you can't deal with it, right? You're like,
Yep.
I can't deal with this right now, and then you get worked up. Then your kid comes up like, Dad, look, hey, and now you're all worked up because you got a kid, and then the dogs are barking. So it's
Yep.
like being able to have, I mean, walking into a house and it's just clean. It just creates like
Mm-hmm.
mental clarity. Then you could deal with the barking dogs and the crazy kid and
Absolutely.
all that kind of stuff. So I completely understand where you're coming from with that.
That's my husband now. He's gone. He's only home Sunday, Tuesday, and he works full day shifts and comes home late at night and it's chaos. And I feel bad, but then during the day, I'm like, I'm in survival mode because I'm taking calls, I'm coaching my people, I'm doing hair, I'm homeschooling, I'm trying to cook, but also like if I miss something that's not clean. So it's just a constant. So if I can get a couple things handled and then I just work through that with that system, it'll be so easy. And then having him come home and feel better and not overwhelmed. And then I'm not overwhelmed that he's overwhelmed. It's just like a whole, yeah, you get it.
It's one of those things where like everybody feeds off of each other, right? So like if you're stressed
Totally.
out, that means your partner's stressed out, then the dogs feel it, so then they get stressed out. And
Yeah.
for us, we have our little one, and when she gets stressed out, there's a really good chance she might go pee someplace.
Oh no, yeah.
So we try to like keep her a little bit calmer than normal because
Yeah,
she's a handful. But yes, it's chaos breeds chaos, and
absolutely.
it's definitely something you got to be careful about. Um,
Hmm.
So now that you've gone through what you've gone through in life with the businesses, with the salon and the doula, and everything that you're in now, if you could go back to your 18-year-old
Mm,
self and
mm.
give yourself one piece of advice, what would that be?
Uh, one piece of advice. I would probably tell her to speak, like speak up, because I I'm a recovering people pleaser, and I had a hard time setting boundaries because I wanted everyone around me to be happy. So it kind of bled into a lot of areas of my life that I'm cleaning up now, which is fine because it's just another place for growth and good evolution. But just to speak my truth and not be scared of disappointing or upsetting or whatever, because no is a complete sentence, right? That's that would probably be it. Because the voice that I have now, and when people see me now, I'm not the person I was when I was in high school. Like the voice that I speak with, and the clarity I have, and the confidence that I have. I was always outgoing and fun, and like I would be bubbly, but I wasn't true to me inside. Where like, no, I don't want to do that. Yeah.
Yes, saying no has always been a really difficult thing for me, and I think for a lot of people because they're just afraid that they're gonna offend somebody or hurt somebody's
Yeah.
feelings or something like that. But like, it's one of those things where if you just tell somebody no, there's no expectation of like you bailing. Like I've dealt with so many people that they said yes. I know that there's a chance that it's not going to
Mm-hmm.
happen, right? So
Yeah.
if you just told me no, I'd rather than no and be kind of upset about it than you tell me yes and then you not show up, right? Like there's way more impact on not following through with something than doing it.
Absolutely. And I try actively, I surround myself now with people that help me through this and help me with this because they were modeling that behavior, right? You're the average of the five people you spend the most time with. And I have surrounded myself with people that are full of integrity, full of honesty and just their own beautiful truths. And they make me a better person and make it easier for me to speak freely and get what I need and give people what they need.
Yeah. No, it's huge. Having a close, like you said, it's the five. You're the average of the five closest people to you,
Mm-hmm.
um, and I think it's so true. I've found myself through life, like depending on my friend group and who I was with, like I would be a different person. Like
Mm-hmm.
if I was around a lot of people that were really into, I don't know, um, into cars, like I got really into cars, which I still am, and I don't think I ever will stop that. But
No.
if you're around a lot of people that are into, for me, like it was cryptocurrency, and then I got curious about it, and then I got into
Mm-hmm.
mining, and then it was like it just kind of like,
That's awesome.
yeah, and but it also goes mentally, right? So if you're,
Yep.
and this is something that I've definitely learned in the last 3 years ish, um, is the people that you're around, they're going to influence you, right? So I was around a lot of negative people, and what was happening was I started to become negative, right? So now that I'm
Mm.
becoming negative, I'm around my wife and my kids, or my kid, not kids.
I was like, do you have something to
No,
tell
no, I have
me?
nothing to tell you. um, but they
Yeah.
they become negative, right? And then because they're negative, now I get negative, and it's just like
Mm-hmm.
it's snowball effect.
Yep.
And I think being around positive people is important. I think being around people that um, are like-minded and have similar ambitions and goals in life is super important. So that way you're able to not only see them succeed, but when you're succeeding, it's not just yourself being excited for yourself, but you also have the people that are with you and are like encouraging you. Like when you feel like you're doing really bad, they could be like, "No."
I
um,
can't agree with that more though, because just where I'm at with isogenics, where it started and what it has become, it is so much more than, yeah, drink these shakes for 30 days and do a couple cleanse days and you're going to lose weight. In the end, this has given me such a different mindset shift. The people that I am in contact with every single morning, we text each other gratitude texts every day, three things we're grateful for. I've shifted into like Abraham Hicks, listening to Asking It Is Given, just complete like belief work, mantra stuff, talking to my mentor who helps coach me, like what I said before, no is a complete sentence, that type of thing, where I was given such a gift, and I am a different person than I was a year and a half ago, just through this company that I thought was a total pyramid scheme, and it's so not. And I'm just so grateful for all these people, because I could not show up as who I am comfortably and authentically without them. So,
So I have two more questions for you.
mhm.
One question uh, is there a question that I didn't ask you that you wish I would
Mm.
have? And then you
Oh,
got to answer it.
oh, I don't know.
These last
You
these
had
last two are
really,
difficult questions. Just a heads up.
that's okay. Honestly, your question list was really, really good. And I was like, oh, because we do team calls every Tuesday night. I was like, I want to take some of these questions and do it for the interviews. They're really good. You should be very proud.
I appreciate that.
Um, no, because you asked me, like, I love talking about my isogenic story. Um, oh, you didn't ask me what's next for isogenic. What's next in isogenics for you, Stephanie? Well, I'm going to win that trip very soon, and I'm very excited. So you will see me working and living from Puerto Vallarta, and that's like the best part of this. You can do this business anywhere, so I could go anywhere I want and do this. But what's next? I am inviting a brand new team of people in that are hungry for the freedom, the time freedom, the flexibility of your life and your schedule and your wallet and everything. Um, I'm not even going to lie, I'm still learning, but I feel like if you're not still learning, like, what are you doing? You're forever a student. So what's next is taking my team to the next level, taking myself to the next level with them, because that's where they're going to take me. Um, and just helping as many people as possible.
If you could be remembered for one thing, what would that one thing be?
I thought about this when I read it, and I was like, well, my purple hair, duh.
I
But
think you're already known for
I
that. I don't
know,
think you have to worry about
definitely.
that. You sent me your email and I started laughing because I was like, "Yep, that's it."
That's it. The purple doula. I want to be remembered for, maybe it's like a two-parter, for always making people feel good, like wherever they are. I don't want people to feel judged when they're with me, because that's just ridiculous. I want, like, whether it's me doing your hair, or me helping you with weight loss, or me helping you with your baby, or me just being your friend and doing whatever. Like, I just want to always have people be like, oh, I left Steph, and, like, you leave somebody and you just feel that they like charge me up rather than like suck the energy out of me. That's what I always want to give. And I want to be remembered for, like, always saying yes, but in good ways, like the yes man. Like, yes, I can go do this. Yes, let's do it. Like, I want to be able to travel here and do this and be like, wow, Stephanie was always living her truth and like living her best life. So that's the goal.
Thank you for doing this. I,
Thanks for having me.
no, it's my pleasure. And like I said, I've always watching it from a distance. What we were talking about before is just being really consistent, about what you're doing, and just really showing people um, who you are, right? Like, which is super big, and not being fake, and just being like,
I
it's
can't.
just the worst. Everybody struggles, and
I
you
don't
know
know how to be anybody else.
that's it. Nobody knows how to be some. Yeah, everybody can fake to be somebody else, but if you're
No.
yourself and the genuineness comes out, it leads
Yep.
to a lot of great things. So,
Yeah.
I appreciate you again doing this, and I'm super excited to see what's next, and I'll still be watching. So,
Yes.
and hopefully now I can
Awesome.
encourage and be part of it.
Yeah, definitely. Oh my gosh. Come on, my team. Let's go.
But all
I'm
right,
so grateful for this, really.
no, thank you, appreciate it, and thanks again.
Awesome. Thank you.